Let's start with some international news first, where US President Donald Trump has said that he's willing to speak directly to North Korea's Kim Jong-un, provided that certain conditions are met. Now, commenting on the talks between North and South Korea, Donald Trump said that it would be great for humanity if both nations cooperated for this. Now, President Trump has rejected author Michael Wolff's accusations that he is mentally unfit to be the President of the United States. Now, Trump has defended himself and his mental health by saying that his track record has shown that he is a very stable genius. He's also lamented at what he called the nation's weak libel laws that he said had allowed the book Fire and Fury to even be published. The US astronaut John Young, who walked on the moon in the year 1972, has died at the age of 87. Young, who had gone to space 6 times, died on Friday night at his home in Houston following complications from pneumonia. The former US Navy test pilot was the 9th person to set foot on the surface of the moon. He eventually became one of the most accomplished astronauts in the history of the United States space program. The Saudi authorities have arrested 11 princes for staging a protest in Riyadh against the kingdom's austerity measures. Now, according to reports, these princes were detained after gathering at the Al Hakem Palace to demonstrate against the government's decision to make the country's royalty pay their utility bills. The foreign ministers of the Arab nations have vowed to lead efforts for international recognition of a Palestinian state. This comes in the aftermath of the US decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Now, the meeting held in Amman between officials from Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, and also the Palestinian Authority is a part of the process that has been set up by the Arab League after its emergency meeting last month. Now, the officials also discussed a possibility of holding an emergency Arab League summit ahead of the regular session, which is set to take place at the end of March. Nigerian officials are in Libya to commence mass evacuations of Nigerians who are stranded in the North African country. The Nigerian government sent 2 planes to the Libyan capital Tripoli, which will carry over 800 Nigerians back home. The Nigerians have recently been the largest national group amongst the African migrants travelling to Libya and trying to cross from there to Italy by sea since local armed factions and Libya's Coast Guard began blocking more migrants from leaving in July last year. Large numbers have been trapped in Libya, where they often face dire conditions and abuse, including forced labour. 5 months after the Rohingyas settled at the refugee camps in several parts of the Cox's Bazar, aid and other food essentials are pouring in from across the world. Besides other agencies like the UNICEF and World Food Programme distributing food essentials. Now, the economics of the Rohingya camps have changed drastically, with the supply for food essentials for refugees meeting the demand. Now, most of the families have a surplus food ration, and with this, trade has started thriving in the Palong Khali camp, located about 4 kilometers from the border between Bangladesh and Myanmar. Several hundred people protested against the Iranian government in Berlin on Saturday. The rally that was organized by the German wing of the National Council of Resistance of Iran followed more than a week of unrest across Iran that has seen 22 people die and several being arrested. The heavy snow has hit several provinces in China, cutting off power supplies in many areas. For instance, in the Jincheng city of North China's Shanxi province, the snowfall had reached 6.7 millimeters in the downtown area on Saturday, blocking some of the city's main roads. The hundreds of Orthodox Christians in Russia attended special midnight masses across the country to mark Christmas. Ahead of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill led the Mass in the Cathedral of Christ the Savior in Moscow, attended by hundreds of worshippers and the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and also his wife Svetlana. Now, President Vladimir Putin also attended a service in the Church of Simeon in his hometown St. Petersburg. Now, several Serbs celebrated Christmas Eve on Saturday with a traditional burning of the Badnjak's oak branches with dried leaves and also a visit to the church. The head of the Serbian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Irene, attended the central ceremony in front of the Saint Sava temple in Belgrade. Alright, let's now take a look at some news from India, where after RJD Chief Lalu Prasad Yadav was convicted in another fodder scam case, the Income Tax Department has prepared a detailed dossier against his children. The former Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav, along with two of Lalu's daughters, are named in the dossier in a Benami Transactions Prohibition Act case for a property that is said to be worth about 40 crore rupees, acquired using unaccounted money in the New Friends colony in Delhi. The police in India's northeastern Imphal city have seized drugs worth around $500,000. The police laid a trap and intercepted a mini truck and also arrested the truck driver. The case has now been registered and further investigations are underway. A non-government organization in India's western Gujarat state has held a marriage consultation fair for HIV-positive people. The Gujarat State Network of People Living with HIV and AIDS has been reportedly organizing the fair for many years in the city of Surat. Hundreds of people attended the program in search of a suitable life partner. And also, according to a 2014 report by the United Nations, India has the third largest number of people living with HIV in the world. A Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, imparted spiritual lessons in the holy town of Bodh Gaya on Saturday. The leader also imparted spiritual lessons on the Four Noble Truths of suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, and the way out from suffering. Thousands of devotees, monks, and visitors from faraway places gathered to attend the lessons. The zoo in India's northern Chandigarh city has made arrangements to keep animals comfortable and prevent them from catching cold this winter. With the temperature dropping down, the animals at the Chattabir Zoo have been provided with room heaters, extra bulbs. Apart from this, their habitats have also been provided with tarpaulin sheets to cope with the chill. Alright, let's shift our focus to some entertainment news now. The Mindy Project star Fortune Feimster is engaged to her partner Jacqueline Smith. The couple have announced the news on their Instagram handle, and that's not all. While the date and other wedding details are yet to be made official, rumour has it that Mindy Kaling will also officiate the wedding. Sexual assault accusations against some of the biggest names of Hollywood continue to grow. Grey's Anatomy star Ellen Pompey has taken to Twitter to slam Uri Allen over his controversial relationship with his wife. Ellen tweeted that she was shocked by the people that work with this man. She also called Ellen a fool and said that people see what they want to see and are turning a blind eye to his transgressions.